Hello, everybody, and welcome to this webinar. We'll give it a few minutes for everyone to successfully connect and jump in, log in, sit down, and anything they need to do. In the interim, what I will do is cover a few items of housekeeping, namely, number one, the whole session is recorded. So if you fear you're missing a point, or you want to look back, or you want to share this session with your colleagues or your peers or your best friend, your cat, your dog, you can. We'll send that out at the end of the session, along with any resources, any links, or any even data sets or anything like that that we share during this presentation today. On top of that, if you do have any questions, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the Zoom toolbar. That way it allows to put all the questions in a nice orderly queue so we can get to them on time. We're not sort of trying to scroll through chat. However, if you feel you really must, you can use chat. We will still troll through that as well. So without further ado, I'd like to make a particular comment to Luke's late addition to the title slide there, including me. I do feel very warm on that fact. It's nice to be included. But yeah, without much further ado, I will now hand over to your esteemed presenters who will take it away for you today.
Great, thank you so much. And perhaps a really quick introduction. Most of you have probably seen us before, or hopefully seen us before in one of the previous webinars. My name is Michael. I am the head of Qlik products at Vizlib, helping out in understanding what goes into the product, what doesn't go into the product. And with me today, Luke Tolchard is he's responsible for Vizlib library, and Vizlib Gantt is his favorite child. Oh, you're not supposed to have favorite children, Luke, but yeah, I know you do. And Martin, who is responsible for our performance and has a special interest in that. And apart from that, he's also responsible for Vizlib Live, and will be taking over a bit more responsibility for collaboration going forward. So feel free to push him on those topics as well. That's us, and I think we'll get started. So what we wanted to talk about today is actually a little bit less about the products and a little bit more about what you can do with our products. So we're going to start with just a quick slide on why is Vizlib important. And people might think that we're important because, yeah, we can do great visualizations, or yeah, we can do self-service and custom report, or we have this and that functionality or visual aspect. Actually, it's hopefully a little bit more than that. And I know it's a little bit more than that. So we do have these products. We have the products that you know and hopefully love in finance and library, again, self-service, collaboration, and all of these things are really good, but it's what we do with them that's important. And that's why Vizlib becomes important. So if we take those Lego bricks and build something with it, that's when it becomes really interesting, because that's when we're solving the actual business problems, challenges, building business solutions and building this into your daily work, which is not necessarily only analytics. And that's kind of what we wanted to do with the multiplier effect and the +1 today, when we talk about what we can do with the product that is a little bit outside of just doing the thing that the product was intended to, but combining them and making sure that we can solve something a little bit bigger. So we're going to talk a bit today, a little bit about planning and workflows, and we're going to talk about how surveys can be combined with analytics, and a little bit about corporate performance management, and a little bit about project. There is obviously more business solutions than this that you can do with our products. So what we wanted to convey today is a little bit around a little bit of inspiration around the solutions that can be built using our different products, and especially from the combination of the different products, and perhaps not just one at a time, but doing that combo thing. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. And to start that off, I'm going to hand over to Martin to talk a little bit about financial planning and workflows. So over to you.
Cool. Thank you very much, Michael. Thank you for the introduction there as well. When we're talking about finance and workflows using our Vizlib extensions, you can, for example, make month-end financial reporting. We have a great extension for this, which is called the Finance Report, where you can do your P&L and dig into all of your financial numbers every month to make your assessments and all that. But what you also can do with our financial solutions here is actually incorporate right back into this and make annotations in each of your month-end financial reports. So as you can see here on your image to the left, what you actually can do is start to annotate inside your custom report and start having conversations within the finance report inside of Qlik Sense. And then you don't actually have to leave Qlik Sense to have all of these conversations and send things and links back and forth, but you keep it all in the same place. And there's also like more ways you can achieve this. So since you're actually doing writebacks on each row here, you can have a comment row, which you can also then represent in different ways. So on your image here to your right, you can actually see per row like what actually happens historically on a certain data point. So there's different ways you can actually start to collaborate and then review different parts of a financial report inside of Qlik Sense. So then, moreover, say you have had your conversations and all that, and you've made some assumptions and start to look a bit into your analytics and all that, and then you want to do a forecast for your next month. So then you might want to do some adjustments in here. And this is also like where writeback actually comes into play when you do your financial reporting. So then you can start to overwrite or create forecasts within your report and start, well, making changes within the report within Qlik Sense as well. So you still stay here in Qlik Sense and you make all adjustments. And this can also be represented in different ways. So here you have like a slider on your left. It's pretty small, but maybe you can see it and change like on a certain report row. So yeah, we count a bit of an increase here next month. And then you make a write back on that, and then that's included for your forecast for the next month. But you can also use things like the write back table to have a different approach or view on however you choose to do it. And adjust it that way. Then you can also include comments and whatnot, or provide different assets as you go here to down your forecast. And see, then we have one more thing on the next slide. So then when you've done started to like look at your forecast and plan next month and all that, you might have a lot of people involved here. That's kind of what you do. So you can include this in like a financial workflow as well. So in here, you see I've attached 2 screenshots as well. So to your left, you can see that we have a write back table, and then you can see all the different reports that has come in and all the different numbers and all that. And here you can actually have indicators of each one of those rows. So you might want to reject something, want to say something else okay, or want more information on something before you proceed with your financial planning, and put comments on that, and then start to collaborate here within your financial applications in Qlik Sense. And then with all that, you can obviously always like look at your analytics as you do this, going back and forth. And you can also do it using different styles and whatnot. Have different types of users with different types of permissions inside of the app, which then can put context on the specific user you are when you're looking at your financial report. So someone might have a certain cost center and they want to change the forecast for something, then your manager needs to come in and approve this and be aware of that. That's what you want to do, and see the comments that other user wanting to do the forecast. Including that, and then either like approve it or maybe you want more information, so you reject it or tweak things and go back and forth. So you always like collaborate and inform everyone, and it all stays in the same place. So you're never gonna have to send something over or go to your communications channel of choice and whatnot, and then always keep the context of what you see and the numbers you're referring to all in the same place. And that's all that I had on that for now. So I think I'm going to hand it over back to Michael now to talk about something else.
Thank you. Great. So, and one thing that I actually forgot to do at the beginning, which I really should have done, is to also hint that there's something really interesting coming at the end of this webinar. There's a small video that showcases something that we will be able to do in the future with our products, and that will be at the end of the webinar. So I really should have pushed at that at the start, just to make sure that everyone stays, right? As opposed to do that little trick. Thank you so much, Martin, for that little view into financial planning and the workflows and the security and the things that we can build around around the financial solutions. So moving on to something completely different and looking at something else, what we've seen more and more of is also customers building surveys and combining that with analytics. And you see that thing that we're doing here with survey and analytics and workflows. The end thing here is the important bit. We're combining the analytics aspect with something else, which could be an input, which could be a functionality, which could be a workflow. But combining that is what makes it very powerful. So when we're analyzing the results of something, we can enhance the results or add to the results. And surveys is a good example. So doing employee surveys, every company does an employee survey. You might do it in SurveyMonkey or some other tool, where it would actually be perfectly possible to do the same thing in QlikSense and doing it inside your QlikSense applications. The advantage of that is that you can then include data from other sources as well. So if you have employee information, maybe location, even more detailed information around the different employees, you don't have to collect all that information in the survey itself. You can actually connect it later on. So that way you can get a better understanding when analyzing the data. And you can also obviously use our products to visualize that analysis in a good way. Another example is the customer feedback. So several customers now actually have external facing solutions with really cool setups, and getting that customer feedback in is just a few clicks away with creating a small form on your QlikSense application. So getting that classic NPS score or just other types of customer feedback from within your QlikSense applications. When we talk about applications, obviously this is also something that we can do internally. So we can easily set up, you see, for example, the bug report here out on the right, doing bug reports or feedback reports that you put inside your apps. So perhaps having a separate sheet inside your application where you always have a bug report and a feedback form means that your users have a really easy way of feeding back information to the development or to whoever's responsible for the data to make sure that they can constantly improve and enhance the things that you're looking at rather than having that as a separate follow-up. It's a constant that always is there, always possible, always easy to do and use. So the point of that is that it then increases the chances that someone uses it. Because when you send out a survey, it's usually a one-off. You do it and then you sort of get it back, and it's a bit of a long process. Whereas what we do want is constant feedback on these things, especially when it comes to the QlikSense applications, and combining that then perhaps with the usage data to see how many people do feedback, the ones that are complaining about not understanding the application, how much have they been using it, have they been to the documentation, have they looked at those things, have they looked at the sheets that you think that they should be looking at. So combining it with that usage data and then having it inside the application makes it a lot more interesting than just having a separate survey. So survey and combining that with analytics is another topic which is very, very interesting. Different topic again. So looking at CPM, corporate performance management type KPIs. And this obviously bleeds into a little bit of the area of overall dashboards and bigger visual dashboards where it becomes a lot more visual. And this is great for analytics. So we have some great tools in terms of the visualizations like KPI Designer, Tiles, Table for those bigger amounts of KPIs, but also and this is again where it becomes interesting, combining that with the ability to write back or comment on the data that you have means that we can now update your KPIs in real time, both in terms of updating the outcome of a KPI, which might be a manual process in many cases, or for the data where we actually automatically read the output, like perhaps sales data or something that is definitely in your systems, then we're able to manage and set and adjust the different targets that we have for those goals of those KPIs. And we can do that all inside the application itself. So having that great visualization and then combining it with an input, meaning that you can support the whole process of running your KPIs and your corporate performance management tools, is actually built inside Qlik Sense. So those are the two topics I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover surveys, I wanted to cover CPM, and I'm going to hand over to Luke for the next topic.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if you can hear like tremendous back noise. I do apologize. They just decided to start hailstorming in the in Wales. But yeah, you know, the project and analytics side of businesses is just becoming more and more prevalent and prevalent, within day-to-day business. I mean, we all have projects and we all want to make sure they are on time. Gantt, obviously, beautiful tool. Like Michael said, it is my favorite. But what we're trying to show here is the fact that yes, you can do more than just display a Gantt chart. So with the first image, yeah. So what you're doing here, you're combining just all the tools to really get that process, your project planning, tracking on point. But you also want to make sure your resources are available. So by combining tools together, such as what we see here, the tiles extension, the KPIs, the Gantt charts, the Sheet Money Plus, to get that aesthetic really knitted together. What you're doing here is designing a business intelligence dashboard that can really provide real-time insights. And of course, what you can do here, like Martin expertly demoed, was the fact of the write back table. The write back table is key to making sure you have up-to-date events, making sure that your project planning is truthful, and you no longer have to go and do it in several different applications, re-upload information, or more importantly, you don't have to leave Qlik. You can do everything within your dashboard, and that's really spectacular. As well, on the next image, as we see here, you've got all your different information from your process tracking, once again, your project planning, obviously. But not only that, you can do cost monitoring, risk assessment. You can do logistics planning, client engagement, and everything else within a normal project and analytics dashboard. And that is what happens when you start to combine all of our tools together. You're really creating that symbiotic nature. You're creating that feeding ground for some really in-depth and visually appealing data. So definitely the Gantt is fantastic for displaying timeline data. But when you combine it with all these additional tools from our toolbox, you're starting to create that project and analytical dashboard, which is really keeping you on time, to the point, and having that truthful data. And I think, like Michael said earlier, which is we don't just want to bring you onto this webinar without having anything to show for it. We're wanting to make sure that you have access to all the key information that you require, upfront and personal. We want to make sure that you can go into our tools and ensure that you can really explore that data and have that full 360 view of whatever dashboard is you're looking at. So if you do the honors, Michael, of the next page, brilliant. And you can see here, like the little POC that we've got here, displaying charts on top of your Gantt events, like this little pie chart here. And when we click into it, we can even then bring up a modal for your write back table, so you can start editing your data on the fly. And obviously you're following all those same security protocols that have been originally set up, but now you can start editing your data within the Gantt project itself, just like you've seen previously with the Gantt product, We're looking at other solutions. How can we best bring this into the key products, such as the finance report? Can we bring it into the pivot table? Can we do X, Y, and Z with it? What are the key charts that we want to include in? More to the point, what are the key charts that you guys, the day-to-day users of our products, what do you want to see it in? Like, is there something that we can really start to elevate the dashboard with? Like we've been going on about all the different building blocks that we have are now together. You can really start to get that business analytical dashboard, your project analytics, your financial planning analytics, or your survey analytics, and so much more. I don't know if anyone else feels like they want to add on to this.
I think that's a good summary of this. And just to say about this video, this is for something that we're working on, so not yet available quite, but will be soon. And the interesting bit here is that closer integration between Writeback and all of our extensions. So making sure that that Writeback is available in every single extension at some point. Obviously not everyone at the same time, but that's something that we feel is really, really important for the future and something that we're working on. So with that, I think we're going to jump over and make sure that we also allow for some questions and things from everyone on the call. So yeah, and with this, I think we'll let Jason back in on the call a little bit.
Nice. I love that. Thank you for the reintroduction and for allowing me to show my face. It's what everyone actually joined for. Nothing, not what you guys were just covering. It's all me. But anyway, serious times. So we do have a couple of questions. We'll start off. But if you have questions to the questions that you're hearing, don't be afraid to add some more. Q&A button is right down there. So first question, this might be for you, Michael. Do I have to pay for all of the products in order to build something like this, or will there be other solutions?
Good question. So currently, as you know, probably there is different products, and the different products have a different pricing. This is something that we're looking into for the future. So we're looking at making these types of solution more of a product. So for example, you saw the Gantt chart used with Writeback and perhaps one or two visualizations. Maybe bundling that together would be something that's interesting for someone to say that, yeah, we want to have this type of solution, so we want to buy that instead of buying the Gantt and the Writeback and the library. We want to pick something different. And similarly for the other solutions, perhaps for the CPM, it would be a great combination of having tiles, the Vizlib library table, and perhaps Writeback there as well, in order to build that type of solution. So yeah, it's something that we're looking into. Currently, it's different products, but it's definitely something that we are considering for the future. And we'd love to hear everyone's feedback on that. So if you want to put something in the chat, if you want to put something in the Q&A, feel free to do so, or just reach out to your representative or even to our support with feedback on what you would want to see in terms of new packages. It is something that we are considering. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael. And I think an addendum to that question as well is, are there any templates for everything that you guys just showed off today? And if there are, where can people find those?
So we do have a great webpage, and Jason will send this out afterwards as well, where we have a special page with the gallery with all these demos. And I think most of the things that we showcase now, we do have demos for. What we perhaps don't have so much, apart from in finance report, where we do have a template, we don't have so much templates in other cases, which is also something that we're considering and love to have your feedback on. Would it be helpful to have perhaps a better sort of project template or a CPM template? Is it something that would be useful and something that would make it easier for you to use that more plug and play? Obviously, it wouldn't be then custom made to your specific need, but it might be a better starting platform. We've seen that the finance report template is popular, but perhaps that's something that's also interesting for the other ones. So yeah, something that we're considering to add more in terms of templates. Demos are all there, and the link is in the chat. You're quick.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. I like this one. Hi, Luke. When do we get Writeback in the Gantt chart? I wonder who that's for.
Yeah, I like that. Well, as you saw, we have the POC, and the point POCs are obviously, as the name says, point of concept. We want to make sure that what we're delivering is got high performance. It's got the features that you require, and we want to ensure that we're not just delivering something at such rapid pace that we no longer consider the fundamentals of design and development. So, I mean, I can't promise straight deadlines, because every time I do that, the developers get very angry at me. But I mean, you see it there. Q1 is what we're aiming for. Definitely have it released in H1 of next year. And yeah, I mean, the question definitely goes back to you as well. Is like, what would you like to see with this new advanced viz tip, like you see? Like, what products do you want to have this? This is a two-way relationship. We want to ensure that we're really encouraging our current users and future users for to ensure that they have their data excellent dashboards.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I think there's a sort of a follow-on from that really in chat there. Is write back functionality in library also? I don't know if you want to lead on to that one.
So no, it's not, but it will be. So that's the thing here, right? We really do intend to put that functionality inside the library in a different way, to make it much more closely connected to the library. So that's one of the things that we want to work on. But there is currently no write back functionality inside the Vizlib library, but you can definitely use them together, obviously. But that closer knit integration is something that we will have to wait for. And please let us know which extensions specifically where you'd love to see this functionality. I mean, I know I want to put it in the tiles because it will be great for those CPM solutions. Luke obviously wants this in the Gantt, but what does everyone else want? So.
Speaking about what everyone else wants and talking about writeback, another question: can I edit my finance report using writeback? And in that case, can I see who changed what? Pretty awesome question there, I think. Probably one for you, Martin.
Yeah, great question. So with writeback, you can obviously write back any data you want, finance data included. So that's also a bit alluding to what I showed before, where you can tweak your forecasts on the fly in the workflow that you're working with. So yeah, you definitely can. It's just a matter of how you want that to be displayed or used by the end users. And in the case of if you can see who changed what, then yeah. Again, you can, if you set up a workflow as we showed earlier for it, you can see who made a request and who's going to approve it and so on and so forth. But we also do have audit logs natively with writeback, either directly in like a column that you can set in the extension. I think that's on by default. Or if you're using the Vizlib server, you actually have a very detailed audit log in there that you can go into and look at, and then even see, like, export CSVs for the changes and make error corrections on writebacks and whatnot. And then you obviously see who did that writeback as well. So yeah, we do have a lot of functionality for that, and it's all a matter of how you want to use it and what suits you best.
And perhaps to add to that as well is, if whenever you're using writeback, use inserts, and that way you will be able to see all the changes that's happening. So there's always that. There's some functionality that we already have, but then you can always create your own audit log as well by just using inserts and maybe just showing the last value if that's what you want.
Yes, exactly.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And given that we are a few moments away from time and we have no other questions in chat, I think that is a perfect moment for us to push pause on this. To thank our panelists today, Martin, Michael, and Luke, for all the great content that they shared with us. Again, our audience for the very writeback focused questions today, but it's always good to have a theme, and it allows us to see what's on everyone's minds. As I mentioned at the start, this whole session was recorded, and we will get that out to you along with any PowerPoint slides, resources, or anything that we mentioned today. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you have any other questions, you can see us all on LinkedIn or reply to the follow-up email or speak to us on the next webinar. So at that, I bid you all farewell. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I hopefully see you on the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks.
cheers.
Thank you very
Keep
much.
well. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye-bye.